Buddy, we've been watching the lockdowns going on over there in China.
And we just want to say, knock it off, China.
Yeah, if you don't knock it off, we'll get the gang back together and do a convoy down in China. That's a promise, bud.
Buddy's turning into an Asian Trudeau over there, just an absolute authoritarian.
The whole country's got no freedom of speech. You can't even chirp your own government.
I'm telling you, do not make us get this convoy back together. It's going to be real trouble for you.
Honestly, don't even think Xi Jinping wants to see us drop the gloves. Buddy's killing dogs.
And cats.
And then you got these robot dogs running around telling people what to do. It's a gong show.
It's a joke. Oh, buddy, how are we actually getting the trucks to China? Is there some kind of like land bridge or?
Yo, I mean, traffic's already gridlocked in China, so if you want us to come turn it into like a barn burner, that's fine with us.
A bunch of dusters in the Shanghai government. Probably the same clowns that got rid of the Hockey Night in Canada theme song at the CBC. Just a joke.
Watch out, because the truckers are going to China, and is everyone in Canada from the Trailer Park Boys? Serious question. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of wearechange.org, and we're going to lighten things up on today's broadcast and talk about abortion, the leaking of the decision, what's going on here, what's the plan, what's the chaos, what's going to be happening next. Well, we're going to be talking about that plus a lot more, as well as the latest major bombshell dropped by Elon Musk. But before we do that, plus a lot more, the clip that we played in the beginning of this video is, of course, by Ryan Long and Danny Polishchuk with their latest video when Canadian truckers threaten to come to China. An amazing video. We only played a small clip from it. If you want to watch the full video, definitely check out our description. We have linked it down below. Check out also Danny's channel. He does really great work. And this kind of Batman, Robin, Danny, Ryan combo here is pretty incredible to watch. They do awesome work, and you should definitely subscribe to both of their channels, as of course comedy, satire are an incredibly important aspect of our modern day culture that needs to be integrated more, since of course there has been a concerted effort to try to silence any legitimate form of satire and comedy that of course threatens the establishment. But now we have a small chance of this eclectic billionaire that might actually change that and allow comedic satirical humor like from the Babylon Bee and free speech to return to a major social media platform that essentially is our modern day town hall. I do have to say, it is kind of very telling how Elon Musk purchased Twitter on Monday, and then specifically on Thursday, the government has just established a new Ministry of Truth, showing you just how fast the government could act in their own interest and power, since of course free speech, the truth, people being able to talk to each other is a threat against the most bureaucratic and corrupted individuals within government. Imagine what they would do if the government actually worked for the people. This, as Elon Musk has been replying to a lot of very important issues on his public Twitter account recently, saying that the extremely politically biased Nina Yelkovich and her new Ministry of Truth with the Department of Homeland Security Disinformation Ministry, and when her previous old statements, which were deleted by the way now, were unleashed, showing how she wasn't neutral, wasn't unbiased at all, Elon Musk decided to respond to a collage of those statements by saying, quote, "All's well," that's Orwell, of course making a reference to 1984. And one of the biggest eye-opening statements that Elon Musk recently responded to was another latest attack piece by NBC that put out more emotional dribble that was absolutely nonsensical or logical, which Elon Musk responded to by saying, NBC basically saying that Republicans are Germans during the 1930s, going on and then specifically saying, quote, "Same organization that covered up Hunter Biden laptop story, had Harvey Weinstein story early and killed it, and built Matt Lauer and his abuse case against his office workers, quote, lovely people." This, as a lot of people in this conversation on Twitter brought up the fact that many Twitter accounts were suspended for even talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, which then in that same thread, Elon Musk responded to, quote, "Where is their, quote, client list? Shouldn't at least one of them go down?" Specifically mentioning how Ghislaine Maxwell went down for a crime where essentially, according to the US government, she sold a product that there was no customers from. The product was, of course, small children that ruling elites, politicians, and celebrities did unspeakable things to. And when we look at the whole Ghislaine Maxwell saga, it is a travesty of injustice that Elon Musk is now bringing light to, as of course it sheds a light on the power establishment of this country for over 30 years, doing horrible, unspeakable things to small children, all in the name of it being funded and protected by the government. Your taxes literally paid for all the police officers, all the FBI agents, all the judges, all the prosecutors, all the members of Congress that looked the other way, while for 30 years, the most powerful people in the world ran an international child extortion and trafficking operation. Ghislaine Maxwell went down for this crime, but very oddly, she went down for providing a service that there's no customers from. Why aren't there any customers? Why didn't the government investigate people like Bill Gates, like Kevin Spacey, like Bill Clinton, like Prince Andrew, and a lot of other powerful people that, of course, colluded with them, that a lot of people speculate did business with them, partied with them, went on the islands with them? And this is all a reference that one of the world's richest people who just bought Twitter is making a public point of. This is a very big deal, to the point where even Elon Musk responded to himself after this saying, hey, why are they already writing my end of life story? And he's writing that because there's a lot of very powerful people implicated in all of this, and Elon Musk shining a light on it, making this a topic of discussion, is absolutely critically important. Throughout the last few years, we always debated whether Elon Musk is someone good or someone bad. I think this shows you that he is legitimately trying to uncover some of the worst elements in our society and expose them for the world to see, because this is a major deal. Former presidents, heads of CEOs, tech oligarchs, and some of the most powerful people in this world being implicated in an extortion operation where thousands of children were hurt here and have still yet to see any kind of legitimate real justice from the predators that hurt them, is a major issue. This, as the latest information we're getting from the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, is that a judge upheld her conviction but reduced her future sentencing by 10 years. This, as of course there was a challenge to this very important whitewashed court case where many important documents and evidence is being sealed away from the general public. This, as the judge who ruled on this case said that there's some details of this trial that are too salacious, too impure for the general public to know about, leaving a lot of people like myself asking if only there was as much interest in the Ghislaine Maxwell case as there was the Johnny Depp Amber Heard poop scandal. Well, the world would have been a better place, and a lot of horrible monsters would be put away and held accountable for their disgusting actions, which they're still free and able to do at any moment. But now, for even making that comparison, I'm being deemed fake news according to the fact checkers at AFP, who literally wrote an article saying that it's misleading to compare Ghislaine Maxwell's trial coverage to Johnny Depp's trial, and if you're doing so, you're spreading fake news. No, it's an analogy. Of course, these are not the same exact things. We're just making a point here that you, as the corporate media, if you actually did your job, if you actually covered the issues, there would be tremendous change in this world that would stop a lot of horrible, corrupt individuals from abusing their power. Yes, obviously, there's a celebrity obsession with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Yes, there's a section of the public that loves to hear about the mud butt in bed. Yes, they're in different jurisdictions that allow people to film court cases, and in the other one they didn't. Yes, we understand all that, but the fact does not change that the corporate media has known about what Jeffrey Epstein, what Ghislaine Maxwell, what very other powerful people, and other people that we don't even know about now have been doing for decades and decided to cover it up. And that, to me, is an obvious travesty of injustice that they are culpable from. So to hear their fact check about this is absolutely nonsensical and idiotic. And this is why, once again, I started LukeUncensored.com, our own independent media platform where we get to say and do whatever we want with a group of highly motivated, curious individuals joining, signing up, and being a part of an independent media organization where they, of course, not only get exclusive access to content almost every single day, but shirts, events. We're going to be doing yet another very important video about the declines in populations, the large movements of people, of demographics, of the rising cost of living, and the larger calamities ahead of us that we are going to be warning and telling you about specifically later on today on LukeUncensored.com. I hope you join us for that very important conversation, which you can only do on LukeUncensored.com. Click the link down in the description below to find out more. Now, last night was a very important moment that took this country by storm, and that, of course, was the latest thing to be mad at was just dropped, and that, of course, replaced Ukraine and now is the Supreme Court of the United States. And cue the TikTok videos of outrage, of discontent, and anger from, of course, the social media algorithms that have been pumped up and will be shared, of course, extensively as this latest divide and conquer scheme is going to be significantly ratcheted up, as today the Supreme Court Justice John Roberts just pretty much affirmed that there was a major leak of a future upcoming Supreme Court decision surrounding Roe versus Wade. We're hearing a lot of news about this, that this was the official decision. Now we're hearing that this is not the official decision, even though Justice Roberts is calling this, quote, an egregious breach, which he says is, quote, intended to undermine the integrity of the Supreme Court. And with this publication of this document that's over 90 pages long by Politico last night, it has created a firestorm online, leaving a lot of people now asking the question, if this is not the final decision, then why are a lot of people treating like it is? As, of course, Justin Roberts has just launched an official investigation into what just transpired. According to some sources, Supreme Court clerks are, quote, horrified, as the information we have right now is suggesting that this leak either came from a clerk or a justice themselves. And right after this release by Politico, there, of course, was a lot of people heading to Washington, D.C. to protest, as there, of course, were protesters from both sides last night and, of course, today. A lot of other people are expecting a lot of chaotic protests to happen as a result of this news. Some people are saying that there even might be a potential of a civil divorce because of this news, but the fact that this decision was released months in advance definitely shows you that there's something extremely fishy going on here. And whether this was released by Democrats, which a lot of people think it was, or by some Republicans, we're still finding out the details here, as of course there is going to be a full-on investigation. A lot of Republicans are, of course, mad about this leaking, including U.S. Senator Josh Hawley, who called for whoever leaked the draft to be disbarred. And the main question that a lot of people are asking themselves with this decision still not final, what is going to be happening within the next few weeks and months before the official decision is rendered in order to try to sway, lobby, and influence the remaining Supreme Court to vote a different way. Now, I didn't read the full 90-page decision that was leaked by Politico, but what it looks like is that this decision by the Supreme Court will allow states to individually decide where they stand on the issue of abortion, specifically making it a state's issue rather than a federal one, as of course leftist states with populations that want abortions will be able to get them, and of course conservative states with populations that don't want them won't allow them in their state, as highlighted by this graphic put out by the Daily Mail, highlighting the states that most likely will not implement any kind of restrictions compared to, of course, the other conservative states that most likely will, as some of these states have even implemented the automatic implementation and banning of abortion if Roe versus Wade is overturned automatically. It's also going to be very interestingly to see a lot of the major protests which are already unfolding about this happening in majorly Democratic areas where there will be no restrictions. It's also very interesting to see a lot of protesters now say my body, my choice, when these were some of the same individuals telling you that you had to do with your body whatever the state wanted you to do just a few months ago. They were making this argument. And of course, I have my own personal opinions and perspectives on this particular issue, but I think it's very fair to say that things are going to get very, very ugly here in the United States. Now, personally, I am not a fan of a big centralized, federalized government. That's why I'm a big fan of states' rights and local jurisdictions decentralizing power, deciding what's right for them. And I think the more we have that, the better. I would even break it down from even or more local level. I would even go personal level, but that's another discussion to have at another time. But again, this is a very complex, convoluted, highly emotional issue with many different aspects surrounding it, including the one, of course, with how horrible the government-run adoption system is. There's also the state of Florida that literally passed a new law that is going to be spending $70 million on promoting responsible fatherhood, trying to incentivize, teach, and help dads to be a part of families. This, as even Elon Musk has come out publicly and has talked about how civilization will crumble if people don't have more kids. And in fact, we are facing a major civilization crisis, unlike what Bill Gates and the corporate media tells you. Statistically, the science and the data is showing us that we are headed towards major problems ahead because people are not having children. And that's another layer to this that, of course, I think needs to be understood. Again, so many different things that we could talk about when it comes to this specific issue. But as I've been warning you ever since for so long, I think it's only fair that this latest development is highlighting how things will get very turbulent, very divisive, and very vicious here inside of the United States with people who are going to be attacking each other over this issue. Again, there's many layers to this issue, as I just demonstrated with the last 3 topics that I talked about, and I think all of them are worth talking about, debating, and considering. That's my point of view. If you thought I said anything that was wrong or incorrect, let me know what down in the comment section below. I always appreciate the constructive criticism. I always appreciate the ability to be able to be called out on my bullcrap. Everyone has a bit of bullcrap, but if you're open towards stopping yours, you actually can. That's my goal here in trying to be as genuine and as transparent as I can here on this independent media platform. The people you get your information from are extremely important. There's a lot of crazy people out there promoting a lot of crazy stuff. And this is why, again, I always tell people to do their own research, do their own homework. We're going to be continuing this conversation, plus a lot more, all exclusively later on today on LukeUncensored.com. I hope to see you there. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching and sharing these videos with your friends, family members, strangers, random people who spammed you. Spam them back with this video. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for a lot more here on wearechange.org.